Okay, here's a variation of upgrading the big three, which is the power wire going to the alternator, the ground going to the chassis, and the ground going to the engine block. That's the big three. Upgrading them with bigger gauge wire. What you'll need is a wire. I'm using 4 gauge. Got it off eBay for like $2 a foot. I got 7 foot of it, so I should have a little bit left. You need a connector for your alternator side. You need a new fuse block for because you'll be replacing the factory terminal. Well, you don't have to do it too, but I'm going to be replacing the factory terminal, which has a built-in fuse, so you can get a fuse block, a 100 amp fuse, because that's what the factory is, and a new terminal. Then also the ground, we're going to be doing a 8 gauge multi-grounding on it, and we're going to utilize the factory grounds as well. You're going to start out by disconnecting your battery terminals. 10mm gets both sides off. You want to just go ahead and take both of them off so you don't short anything to ground when you're disconnecting the alternator cable, which is what you'll do next. The alternator side is a 12mm, and ratchet wrenches are a must for any kind of automotive work. You just break it loose and then completely disconnect it, and we'll reroute the new wire back behind the engine, or however you feel most comfortable routing it, so as to keep it away from heat and protect it from any moving parts, back to the battery side, and then we'll start working on the block over there. Now you can get this rubber boot off of the factory one and go ahead and slide it over your new one. Now I had to drill mine out, if you can see, a little bigger. That's just because I picked out the wrong size. They come in different sizes. I got 1/4 inch hole, and it's definitely bigger than that. I don't know what size it is honestly, but 1/4 inch is not big enough, but I think it's going to work out better with me drilling it anyways, because the diameter of it is smaller, and so it should fit in the plastic shroud better on the alternator. So I'm going to go ahead and route it behind the engine and hook it up. Just put it on there, screw it down the way it was before, and put this rubber boot on it to protect it, and then work my way back to the fuse block and go from there. You will also discover that if you get this type of a connector, you will need to put a bend on this right in here to get it away from the housing, so none of this metal shorts out against the housing of the alternator, or any metal for that matter. You can't have it touching metal because it'll short out positive to negative, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bend on that. Maybe a little more. There we go. That should be good enough, hopefully, but I'll fit it up and make sure I have plenty of clearance before I finalize anything. I am actually going to run my wire up from the alternator and catch this front strut tower brace and strap it across here, and then run straight to the battery. That should keep me away from anything hot. Hottest thing it'll be close to is the intake manifold, which gets pretty hot, but it won't be touching it, so it should be alright. Now you want to take the factory wire that was connected to the alternator and isolate it so it can't touch any metal at all on both ends. You can take it out, but it's in looms and stuff, so there's really no point in getting that involved. I'm just going to tape mine up on both ends, make sure it's good and tight. Alright, so here we're done. We've got the new terminal, which incidentally was $15 on eBay. We've got the grounding. Actually had a grounding block. Universal grounding kit is like $20 off eBay. Came with a bunch of wires and the block. The block will not fit. It's a piece of trash, but the wires still work. We've got a wire going to the exhaust manifold. Don't know if it's going to melt or not. Obviously it's going to get hot. Got one going to the block on the coils to help with grounding the ignition better. Got one going to the chassis on the driver's side, one going to the chassis on the passenger side, and one going to the intake manifold. So this thing is well grounded now. Got the power wire coming down from the alternator, going up and running across, and going down to the fuse block. I'll show you in just a minute me starting this thing. It'll show you the voltage that it's putting out. You have to ground it here. It comes with a grounding wire in order to get it to show it. And then just maybe 10 to 12 inches of wire going to the battery. You want the fuse to be within 18 inches of the battery. That's the universal standard. So this thing should have a much better electrical system now, and should not bog down when I hit turn the rear defrost on or roll the windows up or anything like that as it used to. So I'll go ahead and get it started up and show you that volt. Okay, the car is running now. As you can see, the volts right there, 14.6. You can see that very clearly. 14.6. That display goes off whenever it. I guess the car is in idle to keep from draining your battery down. But that fuse block itself was $19 on eBay, and then the 100 amp fuse inside it was an additional $5. So I'll have the math all together and figure it out. I spent $17 on the power wire to go across to the fuse block. So you're looking at, maybe $80 or something, and I have a completely upgraded electrical system. See, I guess that display comes and goes. I don't know. I'm not real sure why or what tells it to come on and what tells it to go off. Maybe it's a change in voltage it senses that it comes on with. I don't know. But anyways, I just wanted it for the fuse. So anywho, that's all there is to it. After you get done with the install, obviously you want to let your car idle for a good 10-20 minutes, and then go through your regular learning process that you do with your car whenever you disconnect the ECU, because the ECU will have to relearn after this install. So just remember that. Also, one more thing I want to make clear. I use the stock negative battery terminal, and I just looped these new wires through it. I kept the factory wires intact the way they were, just added the wires to the bolt going through the terminal, cleaned it up good so it made good contact. The reason for that is I'm a massive believer in overdoing something, and why not keep the factory grounds in addition to adding new ones? There's just really no reason not to. So I'm definitely in favor of keeping the factory grounds while adding to them. So yep, that's all.